I never want to open my mouth again because my vocal cords will never create something that meaningful and that wonderful. It's episode 10 of the Whales Are Whales podcast, wherein members, friends, and family of the Whales Are Whales network gather around once a week to talk about things. Amazingly, and I'm very surprised about this, we have a panel that rivals last week's panel, except we've just exchanged Parker for Zachary. Hey, Zachary.
Wow, I'm not used to being introduced first, so I don't know what to do.
I caught you tongue-tied, sorry. Okay, good. I couldn't have expected any better.
Wow.
Oh, Bryan, hi, you're my brother.
I don't know how to follow that up. That was one of the best introductions we've ever had on this podcast.
Yeah, I agree.
But, Steven, I have to point out, I am a member of friend and family, so I fit all three categories.
Boy, are you, Bryan. What a...
I'm gonna fly back out there and punch you in the face.
Oh, Cameron, you sound particularly long distance today.
Yeah, I am back in the hometown of Suckville. So that's not fun.
Suckville and Suckington?
Yeah, they're right next to each other. They're sister cities.
All right, well, keep on rooting for the home team, but knowing in your heart that they're going to lose. Meanwhile, I'd like to introduce our final panelist, Abigail Inslee.
Hey there.
Hi.
I was gonna see how long I could stay quiet, but it didn't work.
No, it was good. It was
like
hey there.
hiding in a corner is not a good podcasting strategy.
Yeah, I was trying.
Dramatic pause.
Well, see, I thought it would be different, you know? Most podcasters they come out and they talk and they're super exciting. I was like, yeah, let's try a different take on this.
Yeah, let's try not talking.
Yeah.
I think that's a good strategy.
New segment, a moment of silence.
Yes.
Yep, that can be added in post though, so don't worry about it.
Awesome. I'm not good at being
The
silent.
worst moment of silence in the entire world.
Well, I guess I actually kind of slipped up, though, because I said that the panel today is as big as last week's, but last week's was an extremely small panel. It was episode 8 where we had all of us and Parker and not Zach.
That's not true.
And now we're on
the
episode
same-
10.
It was the same
Wait.
size.
Wait, I'm confused. What was 9?
9? You guys didn't listen to 9? That was the dramatic reading of The Adventures of Captain Redbeard and His Crew, written by me when I was 11.
What are
Wait, you
talking
really
about?
released that?
Well, I mean, not as of this recording. Well, you want to hear a sample from it?
Sure.
I'm confused. What's going on?
It all started when Captain Redbeard was getting his ship out into the sea, when he noticed he forgot something. What he forgot was his crew. He saw them yelling at him from the shore. He picked up his crew at the shore. Arr! I'll pick ye up if you stop yelling! Screamed Captain Redbeard. Are we almost there? Complained Shorty, when they had just left the shore. No! Yelled Captain Redbeard. Are we almost there? Complained Shorty. No! Yelled Captain Redbeard. Are we almost there? Complained Shorty. No! Yelled Captain Redbeard. Are we almost? No! Screamed Captain Redbeard. So that's just a snippet of it. But,
Oh my god.
What?
I finally found that story on my computer. It's one of the oldest things I've ever written.
That
That
story
just-
is amazing.
That just changed my whole
thought
life.
I was going insane when I began hearing seagulls.
Me
I was-
too.
I was like...
How did you do that?
Did you record all of that yourself?
Live editing into sound of seagulls.
Cameron, are you surprised that I was able to write such a good story? Is that why?
No, I'm surprised. I'm with Zach. How did you put seagulls in my ear?
Oh, well, that's a new medical treatment they're using. Very forward thinking. Well, I mean, I just edited a little thing together today, and Pamela lets you play things through Skype audio. That's how I made all of you hear it.
good.
But
I thought you were like holding your microphone up to your speakers or something. I'm like, that sounds really good.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was thinking too. So I knew something. This is not actually episode 10, right? This is episode 9.
no, it is episode 10. You see, I had to put something up for episode 9, so I thought I'd just make it about the story I wrote when I was 11.
What are you talking about? Did we miss a week?
No, because I'm trying to push it up to episode 10, because I knew we were all going to be here.
Oh,
and episode
God.
10 is special because it's the 10th anniversary regarding episode count rather than actual years.
I knew you were gonna do that. I absolutely knew you were gonna do that.
So are you saying you gypped us a podcast and had one completely yourself, all like without your friends, just so that we could have some special 10th anniversary podcast?
No.
Yes!
You lied to us, Stephen?
I am so happy that Stephen brought back the 10th anniversary regarding episode count, but not actual year.
Well, I guess Abigail wouldn't remember that. Because it would be weird if she did.
Well, good. I
It's
can't.
amazing
You know
to
what?
think it's been 10 years.
We started that
the best
podcast.
things about the DV cast, and we're keeping it alive.
We started this podcast today.
Of our
I
origins?
knew it.
What?
Okay, now that everyone is done yelling,
I'm not
Abigail,
I'm done now.
when we started Disembodied Voices, our video game podcast, it was the first podcast really any of us had ever done, and we were so excited to make it to 10 episodes without quitting that I wrote a script for everyone to read about our origins and how we started the podcast.
Oh my god,
And it was
didn't?
really silly and funny, and we read it live on the air, and no one had read the script before. And so it became a celebration.
We should do that again! I'm
Well,
sorry,
see,
that
I
sounds
actually
fun.
planned for this weeks ago, and I stayed up really late one night and wrote everything in one sitting. It was like 2 a.m. I was like almost dizzy with tiredness.
Oh no, it was
And
horrible.
I went back to reread it weeks later and realized it makes no sense and is kind of terrible. So I thought we could all read that in celebration of our 10th anniversary
sounds
regarding
awesome.
episode rather than actual years.
I'm so excited to do this.
Yeah, so I can't say it.
I feel like I've grown so much as an individual and actor since our first origins.
As long as you don't make me say howdy as a question, please. Thank you.
Not this time, Cameron.
Good.
Now, I am going to have to warn you, my story was not a joke. I actually was, like, blinking, like, barely able to see through my blinking eyes, tired, rushing through the script. Good luck,
nothing
everyone.
good comes out.
Good
with
luck,
that.
everyone, is how
We're
you
gonna-
give us the script.
Yeah, good luck and happy anniversary to us, because we've made it to 10 episodes if you
wait.
count the pirate thing.
Well, wait, hold on. Why don't?
I'm
So you
curious.
really couldn't have just bet on the fact that we could all be here next week too?
No way.
Given our history,
It's actually a really
not.
bad bet.
This is the 10th, technically the 10th episode, and it's the first time we've all been here.
And it also, Cameron, I actually won't be here next weekend.
See, I'm going to be in Florida next weekend, so I may or may not be here.
Oh, wait a
I-
sec. Next
cool.
weekend is Mother's Day. I'm not going to be here either.
Okay, maybe we should record our episode on some day
And
other
I'm
than
actually
Sunday.
planning to murder Steven on Wednesday, so he's not going to be here next week either.
But he's
Oh,
already
man.
dead. Guys, I killed
awkward.
him, remember?
Oh, wow. So,
I forgot
that's
about
awkward.
that. So speaking of awkward, I'm going to send you guys the script.
Yay!
And we can all
Yay.
read it in real time and celebrate our origins, our history.
I'm kind of confused, Steven.
Are you
This-
Abigail?
Yes.
What are you confused about?
The story that you told about writing this script, was this
Mm-hmm.
the one that you wrote for Disembodied Voices years ago that we're reading, or is this one that you wrote for this one? I was confused
Good
by
point.
the
It's
time.
a little confusing. The first script I wrote many years ago for Disembodied Voices, and now I've written a new one, and this is the one where I stayed up super late and kind of became
Okay.
dizzy with tiredness. I did that a few weeks ago, preparing for this anniversary. So this is completely
Okay.
new. It includes all of us
That makes
because it
me
is the
happy.
history of Wales or Wales.
Woohoo.
So I have a new idea. No, I know it. Never mind.
Okay, I will never mind you, Cameron.
I see your little
Okay.
pencil in Skype, and I'm excited about the link.
You guys got it?
Oh my god!
Make sure I'm still recording here. Yes. Okay.
I'll be the narrator.
Wait, you're narrator and Steven? That's
Yes.
You
that's
better
not
give the
confusing
narrator
at
a
all.
new
You
voice
better
that
do
we
a
never
different
used before.
voice.
I can be the narrator.
Do it in
you
a
could be the
British
narrator.
accent.
Oh no, Cameron. Do that.
Wait, hold on. I thought I had
Can
the
someone
worst
do a good
accent.
British accent?
Nope.
No, he can't.
Oh.
That's why
Can
we
you
want
do a
him to
good
do
British
it.
accent? You do a great Southern accent. You can do like your Southern
Well,
plantation accent.
Wait. If we're
Abigail.
doing a Southern accent, it needs
'Cause
to be
I'm from the
Zach. He
South.
lives in the South.
Hey, I live in the South.
I live in the
He
South.
lives in the real South.
I'm practically Mexico.
I live more north than them, and I live in the real south.
Okay, folks, we're gonna have to
Where
put
do
it
you
to a
live,
vote. Who
Zachary?
wants to be the narrator?
So basically I could do a terrible British accent. Steve could do
Mm-hmm.
his very, once upon a time thing he does. Zachary could do the Kentuckian. Abigail, you said you had another Southern draw?
I don't know.
So we need to decide what voice we want for this.
Well, Steven, you wrote it.
As
it
long
shouldn't be
as
me
you
because
can
I know
make
it's
it-
coming.
All right.
I'm gonna say, Abigail, I want you to be the narrator.
Awkward.
Yeah.
I can't read,
okay.
guys.
She's
Oh, boy.
illiterate.
Am I doing it in a southern accent?
I'll read it to her, and then she can read it.
Yes, I'll repeat him.
Okay, Abigail, do you want to be the narrator?
Sure.
Otherwise, I'll hand it off to Bryan.
I can
okay.
be the narrator.
Let's do it then.
Once upon a time, there lived two brothers with big ideas. They were like the Wright brothers, sans mustache. Those who did not fear or respect them saw them as kind of weird, average dudes, and the latter category was the majority. They were named Stephen and Bryan, but this document keeps insisting that I spell Bryan with an I.
Bryan, my brother, my head is bursting with ideas, but they're stuck in there with my sinuses. I can't keep writing them down and burning them. It's demoralizing, not to mention environmentally irresponsible.
So was the Bush administration.
Stop repeating jokes you heard on Saturday Night Live and listen to me. I have an idea.
I'll get the matches.
Not this time. Bro. This one's flame resistant. This is the idea to end all ideas. Or actually, the exact opposite of that. We need to make an idea that makes ideas.
Egads, man! What next? Do you want ideas running our cash registers and zoning our cities? This is nuts. This is nuts. Nuts, I say. We're talking cashews here. Pecans, almonds, pistachios, pine nuts, hazelnuts, macadamia nuts, walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells, mixed nuts, grape nuts.
Come on. We've talked about this a dozen times, and it always stalls out somewhere around the macadamia bit. We want to make the world a cooler place, don't we? And gather friends from across the globe to collectively be 7% of that coolness?
Well, yeah, mathematically speaking.
Did I say we pull the trigger, jump the shark, and perform any other meaningless, dangerous tasks we can think of to make it happen? Are you telling me you're a good-for-nothing low-life quitter face?
I don't understand this line at all, but I'll say it anyway. Nah, I'm just fly fishing for a chortle. Let's make history like Hamilton.
And roughly speaking, that's what happened. After a brainstorming meeting punctuated with impromptu hip-hop freestyle session, the brothers set off to recruit heroes from all four corners of the planet Earth. Specifically, the ones in their small circle of friends, and it's getting late, I'm so tired, need to finish the script. I could go for some grape nuts.
I vote to kick Abigail off as narrator.
Oh, that was beautiful. Are you kidding me?
I can't stand the accent anymore.
I can change the accent.
I'm caught somewhere between horrifically annoyed and pleased to a deep degree.
Worst accent ever. Oh,
Okay, well,
You
okay.
asked
Not as
for the
bad as my
accent.
British accent.
I did.
Okay. Back to the script, everyone. Stay on message, please.
Wait, am I actually kicked off as
Cameron, you're
narrator?
up next for narrator.
Oh.
Get your British accent.
Oh my god. Okay, it's going
Okay.
into an Indian accent.
Camera's next. Yo, yo, besties in the house. Throw your hands up. Throw your hands up.
Are you ill?
Sorry, the leftover radiation from the hip-hop sessions. Yo, yo, besties. In the house. In the house. In the house. Yo, yo, besties. In the house. Yeah. Throw your hands up. Yo, yo, besties. In the house. In the house. In the house. Yo, yo, besties. In the house. Let me break it down for ya. Yo, yo, besties. In the house. In the house. 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 Besties. 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 Alright, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it to you one more time. Besties.
Hip-hop artists don't say bestie.
Tell that to the bestie boys. Any hoopastink. Cameron, Zach. Do you guys remember Disembodied Voices?
Do you mean that video game podcast we've been recording with you and Bryan for like a million years?
Sharp memory, my dude. The very same.
Try to forget.
Okay.
With alcohol, you know.
See?
The kind you drink all the time to forget the painful memories.
See, Bryan and I are starting up an idea factory called Whales or Whales, and we think Disembodied Voices would fit it like a glove. Or like a mitten. I see those on Zappos all the time. One size fits all.
Yeah, I'm on board because whatever, but why'd you name it Whales or Whales?
Because Bryan wouldn't let me call it Bagel Bagel Productions.
Wait a sec, I thought I said I wouldn't let you call it Bagel Bagel Productions.
That is recorded in the last episode.
Meanwhile in Manhattan, or Skype, I don't know, man. Okie dokie, Abigail. You like to write, right?
Don't you hear me typing with the incessant keystrokes of a mine unwound? A ball of yarn so fully, so dreadfully undone that nothing remains but what could have been?
Quote, it sounded like microwave popcorn. Quote, it sounded like microwave popcorn, unquote, Emily Dickinson.
Abraham Lincoln.
So,
It's been misattributed over the years.
so why the literary introduction? You're being awfully forward, like the forward to a book, which is the pun I'm making.
The man writing these words is sleep deprived.
Gopher, 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 gopher.
Yep, right then. So what would you think about letting your vocal cords get some well-deserved cardio and strength training by co-creating a storytelling podcast with Steven and I? Worst case scenario, it ends our friendship.
Sure. I'm in. What's the worst that could happen?
I just told you.
And so the super squad of gentle people here before you were formed. Other things that happened were Train Station at 8, brightening the universe with music, a weird webcomic, brightening the universe with drawings, Horror Cam, brightening the world with darkness, and Disembodied Voices, being dismantled. Oops, that was a sad thing. Pretend I didn't say that. There are many more adventures to be had, however, including the one you are listening to right now. This history of Whales Are Whales will end with the Whales Are Whales anthem. The Whales Are Whales anthem!
Should I be seeing this? Like, who's...
Whales are whales!
Brave, true creatures from biology.
Whales are whales. A statement, a cause, a friendship, a friend, a sort of tautology.
Tautology.
The
All right.
end.
I'll fix that in post.
I think you should leave it as is. It's a beautiful anthem.
Good luck with that. Just auto-tune us all.
And that's, the history of Whales or Whales, pretty much. Yeah, I think that's comprehensive. I'm satisfied at that. I was a little worried, remembering what it was, but now that I see it
That was
laid
not
out like that,
comprehensive. I think Abigail said go for 5 times in a row.
This is the first time I've seen anonymous Nyan Cat in a Google document.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
funny.
Yeah, it seems like a portent of some type. Like, this was dumb.
I just like that you spelled the word for with a number. I could go for some grape nuts.
Wait, where was that? I didn't even catch that.
It's
Oh,
right
you're
after he made me go, ack, 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 ack.
Oh my gosh. So, Steven, you were really right. This was weird.
Yeah, I wanted to recapture the old days of Disembodied Voices, so
Are you saying we were just weird back then?
a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Apparently-
okay, fair point.
Zachary only had 3 lines, you know. Classic DV cast.
Hey, I only had 2, so...
Burn.
It's okay. It's okay, Zachary. One of my lines was go for, go for, go for, go for, go for, go for, go for. So I don't think that's
Wow,
much better.
lines. Yeah.
I started out really verbose when we introduced Bryan and I, but as time wore on, it got longer and longer. I got more and more tired, so I kind of cut most of
It's
everything
like
else.
2
You got
pages
3
long.
lines, so.
It's
Hang on, I
2 and
think
a
I had
half
2.
pages.
It's I mean that's would you have wanted that to go on much longer?
I mean, yeah,
If it was-
it was funny.
It was fun. I'm just surprised that you were able
Cameron's
to
all for
still
it.
make
Can we
jokes
just
at
do
the
it
end.
again?
No, wait, no, that's not what I said.
Once upon a time, there lived 2 brothers with big ideas. They were
Once
like the
upon a
Wright
time.
brothers, sans
Hey,
mustache.
I think I did pretty good. Did you guys hear my British accent? I think
Yeah,
I
it was
did
actually
pretty
a lot
good
better
British
than I
accent.
remembered.
Thanks. I was really trying super hard. I actually muted my microphone and practiced it once.
Oh wow!
Wow.
It was, Yorkshire.
I don't really know where that
was
is.
so not Yorkshire. Oh my god. Oh, he was kidding. Okay, good.
Yeah. Even Abigail doesn't know when I'm being sarcastic at this point.
No.
It's a tricky road that we travel. Well, now that we've gotten all the ceremonies out of the way, there is something I really want to talk about today.
What's up?
Is it...
Bro.
Well, we'll just say what it is.
It's Disney's Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron by Josh Whedon.
Hey!
Abigail, did you see that movie?
I did.
Zachary, did you see that movie?
Why do you even ask these things?
Because if I didn't ask you, then you would be offended.
No, I wouldn't. I think it's already kind of a given at this point that I don't normally watch Marvel movies. Until,
Yeah, that's true.
5 years later. I mean, like, I still haven't even seen, like, the first Avengers, okay? So,
Wow, yeah.
That's so
Which
sad.
Marvel movies have you seen?
Iron Man, which was okay. Iron Man 2, which was garbage.
Which was total
It's
garbage.
totally garbage.
Thor, which I liked. And then
Yep.
Captain America, which I liked. And that's it.
Which is
Well,
pretty
yeah,
funny because
you
the most
you had a good track
popular
record.
the most popular opinions that I hear for both Thor and Captain America were that they were garbage.
I
enjoyed them.
I've enjoyed both of those.
I mean, I guess I liked them just because they were more, like, fantastical, which is what I go in for with those things.
Yep.
You know.
I think Thor and Captain America were both good movies.
Yeah, Thor was great. I mean, it was for what it was. But you're right, Zachary. Iron Man 2 was just complete trash.
Oh god.
I liked it a
Iron Man
little bit.
2.
I haven't seen it, so I have nothing to say about this. But I'm going
Have you not seen Iron Man 2?
Wrong. No, I have not.
Oh,
See,
okay.
Iron
You've
Man
seen 3?
2 was bad enough to make me not watch 3, and I feel like I missed out on 3.
Yeah, 3, they increased the quality in 3 a little bit. I mean, it's worth watching if you liked 1, but it's not nearly as good. 1 was the pinnacle of the Iron Man series, I think.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it is kind of sad.
I love Iron Man and the Avengers, though. I think they did him really well.
Oh my goodness, yes. In fact, you may say the pinnacle of the Iron Man series is actually not in an
It's
Iron
actually
Man
just
movie.
Avengers.
Actually, honestly, I think the pinnacle of all of them are those movies because Joss Whedon
Yes.
does characters better than anyone else.
Yes.
He's the
that-
only one
that is
who can
right.
actually make them interesting. Like, that's
So-
what I noticed with this. I was like, oh, they're actually all interesting in this one. Huh.
Cameron still does not know what guys, stop communicating in your little cartoon language.
We're done.
I can
Okay.
see it. It's like a big blue splotch on my recording.
It's like you somehow spilled your food on your screen and it was transferred into some kind of
Just kind of looks
audiological
like I threw
pattern.
up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a really weird
Great.
analogy. So, Avengers 2, The Age of Ultron, is a movie.
Yes, and one that Cameron and I started to talk about last night, but I refused to tell him my opinions because it's supposed to be secret.
So the last thing I heard from Cameron is your assumption, Cameron, is that we both did not like it.
I have a feeling you guys liked it, but were not overly impressed with it and came out with disappointment.
All right. So was that your opinion on it, Cameron?
No, I came out very, very pleased. I don't think it was as good as Avengers 1, personally. I think the story was a lot more I mean, I'd say nonsensical. It's a superhero movie, for goodness sake. But it was, compared to the first one, it made a lot less sense. I think the character development was amazing, though. Like, the way like, Hawkeye was like an actual character in this one. And it made me not hate him. So, in general, I think the fighting scenes and the character development was a lot better, and it was a lot more funny, but it was not as a good movie.
Well, for me, the theater we saw it at was pretty crowded, and that's unusual for us. We usually see movies once it's emptied out a bit.
So unfortunate.
And, well, it was, the people in there were pretty respectful, actually. And even the kids were
in the head.
pretty good. Except the one who kicked you in the head. Whoa. I don't...
So,
That
by the
happened?
way, fair listeners, it is the ghost of Bryan with us today.
Hey-oh!
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go put reverberation on all of his audio clips.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and yet there were like 8 times throughout the film that I had to stop myself from like just going, "This is an awesome movie! Is everyone seeing this?" I loved the movie. Absolutely loved it. Beginning to end, it was hilarious and exciting and like as good as the first one in many ways. I loved Age of Ultron.
Wow.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I had a thoroughly good time watching the movie. That was such a fun experience. And I was going into it with very, very low expectations, which maybe contributed to this.
But see, that's always a good thing.
Yes, it is, Abigail. the few people I'd heard talking about it were like, it has good action scenes, but it's not very well written compared to the first one. And I had misconstrued what you'd originally said, Cameron, as to also agree with that. I didn't realize that you thought it was super funny and super well written with good character development until after I saw it.
Oh, no, yes. I thought it was absolutely hysterical. Like, there was maybe, 3 good, hearty laughs in the first one, right? This one had it nonstop. It was nonstop funny. Every single line was hysterical.
It was
really
almost too many jokes to the point where I was still catching my breath from the last one and just didn't have the energy to laugh. And I knew it was funny, but I'm like, I'm just gonna let everyone else handle that laughter. I'm out right now.
But then you look at like the entire scene with the safe house and the log cabin, and I was like, this is dumb. The whole situation is dumb. So there was so many ups and downs for me in terms of the writing and the story.
Wait, you thought the safe house was dumb?
Okay, wait,
like
I need to say a couple of things. Thing number one, we're probably going to run into spoilers. So, hey, Zachary, do you not? Well, if you liked Captain America and if you liked Thor, you will love the Avengers movies.
I haven't seen the first Avengers, so what makes you think I'm going to see the?
All right, you're
5 years.
So after this, you need to go watch both of them because
I have no interest whatsoever. I'm just going to sit here in my dark room and wait for a year until Batman vs Superman comes out, so I can be here next year and then complain about Scott Snyder ruining everything DC. So
okay. Well, at least we have a plan. And the second thing I want to say is, I'll try to limit the Ultron talk because I know you have nothing to contribute. But do you mind if we go on about it for just a little bit?
As long as you let me complain about Dragon Age for a bit afterwards.
That is a deal. I would shake your hand. Could I reach to Kentucky from my office? So yeah, back to Age of Ultron.
We were talking about the safe house and how
the safe
we have
house,
completely different opinions on it, Cameron and I.
Well, see, when they entered the safe house, I kind of thought it was silly as well. It felt almost a little.
Reason for them to go
honestly,
there.
I felt like the whole reason for the safe house was Joss looked at the complaints from the last movie and went, no one liked Hawkeye. Let's make them like Hawkeye.
Yes,
and so that's why they shoved the safe house in there. And so, like, while I'm like, oh, it's great that Hawkeye has kind of a part, it was really awkward because it felt like they were forcing him to have a part instead of allowing him to be awesome like he is in the other Avengers stories.
Except that he totally... Wait, you mean the other Avengers stories outside of the first Avengers?
Yeah, like the cartoons.
Because he's not awesome in the first Avengers.
No, he's totally sucky in the first Avengers, which was so sad.
I don't know Hawkeye at all outside of Avengers, so
honestly, I only know him from Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is a cartoon.
Okay.
But he has so much witty banter with Tony Stark in that one that I'm just like, this is a great character.
There's so much witty banter kind of going about that I kind of like that they gave him a different role than his role he was given, which, is being kind of the dorky dad family man, the one like grounded person with a normal life amidst all this superness, was a really good way, instead of just making him like, I'm another superhero, but a little less super, he's a juxtaposition to the rest of the team because he's grounded in the real world, and they ran with that instead of trying to distract you from it. Which in
a way, he's like the later season Xander when he quiets down and starts to gain a bit of wisdom, but doesn't have the same superpowers.
That's a good comparison.
That's true. He actually was a lot like that. I did like the fact that giving him a family and everything did raise the stakes for him. So I actually cared about him in the movie. I was like, oh no, he might die. He has a wife.
Right. I agree with that. And I think Bryan and I were talking about this exact thing that you said, Abigail, which was it felt kind of forced, like they were shoving it down our throat. Like, okay, he has a family in a perfect white picket fence ranch. Okay, we'll care about him now, right? But he was such a self-aware character that I think it worked. Like, Bryan and I always go back to the scene where he says, look, we're fighting an army of robots, the city is flying, and I have a bow and arrow.
I have a bow and arrow.
Sense.
Yeah,
that was the best line.
He got all of that. He was so down to earth, and, he's even kind of thinking about quitting the Avengers, and to me, it felt like they forced it, but to the point where they pushed it so hard that it made me sit up and pay attention, and I really liked it.
Cameron, you haven't really been able to say yet, but what did you dislike about the whole safe house sequence?
Oh, it was boring. So we watched the first Avengers, me and Bryan did, maybe like a week ago, or a little longer when this comes up, and, to prepare for the new one. And we both mentioned multiple times that the movie is really slow at some points, but it was never not entertaining. Like, it was always, the slow parts were super interesting, like they were cracking jokes.
They have like a 10-minute segment of them repairing the ship, and yet it's the best scene, like, in the entire movie.
In the first one?
Yeah. It's not the best scene in the entire movie, but they have a whole scene where like Iron Man and I think Captain America are sitting there repairing the ship. And that's all that's happening, but it was intensely interesting.
Yeah, and so that was our point, was that even the not interesting parts were interesting. I just thought the stupid safe house was just completely uninteresting, entirely uninteresting. There was some drama going on, and all of a sudden Nick Fury was there, and like, look, Captain America broke a log with his hand. I don't know, the entire thing, well, and also, why were they even there? They lost, and they're like, oh, boo-hoo, we lost, let's go run away and hide. Like,
I thought everything was great about that scene. I think the one part I thought was a little boring was the Nick Fury exposition there at the end. I kind of stopped paying attention when he was just going through what was going on because it was kind of a recap moment. But everything else, I just thought it was so awesome seeing all these super people in a completely normal setting, which is something you never got.
Oh, see, I was the opposite. I was like, why are these super people being boring?
That's great, because it makes them human and interesting in something other than just fighting robots. But it's interesting, Cameron, because I remember we were watching the first Avengers and you said, man, it's quiet. I'm almost getting bored. And I'm like, man, it's quiet. This is my favorite part of the movie. So that's just where we have differences of opinion.
Well, but they managed to make these super people have entertaining downtime, like when they're trying to lift Thor's hammer in the very beginning of the movie.
That was great.
That was interesting and funny but it still kind of led them to like a more human side. They were just drinking and having a good time. In the safe house, it was the exact opposite of that. It was, look, they're cutting logs and they're arguing about things.
It was also where they were in a down moment, so it was more about their self-doubt. Like Thor just left, and Iron Man and Captain America were arguing, and it was like...
I think the only thing I didn't like about that, though, is I feel like that's the exact same thing that they always deal with, and that's why it was boring to me. Right. I really liked the thing with like Thor's hammer and everything, because it's like, oh look, these people are friends, and this is how they spend their time, and it's hilarious. I like seeing their interaction, but when it comes down to them... When it comes down to them arguing, and it's like, oh no, Tony went off and did something by himself. We need to work together. And it was really annoying because I felt like it was the exact same themes from the first movie. I wanted them to have different struggles, but they have the exact same struggles. At the same time, I guess it's okay, but... I don't know. I think that's why I didn't like that scene that much.
One dash of new plot development was the scene between Natasha and Banner.
Yeah.
That took me for a loop.
Yeah, I agree.
I was like, what? Isn't she supposed to be with Hawkeye? Why does he have a wife? I'm so confused.
I thought it was a much, much better story than the Hawkeye-Natasha thing, which was 100%.
Oh, yeah. They fit really well. He did it, but it's just like, what?
So we don't get too distracted. I don't necessarily think they have to have completely different struggles. If you think about actual people, it's not like, oh, we argued about that once, we'll never argue about that again. It's like people are
But in a movie that,
their own nature.
In a movie that comes around like once every 4 years, you would think they could write up a different conflict than, oh, look, we're arguing with each other again. Do we need another person to die so we can, work together, and you could throw his baseball cards in front of our face with blood on them,
that would have been cool if they had harkened back to that. Because like they can still argue about the same stuff, but I feel like the argument is still going to be slightly different as people grow.
And I think it was slightly different.
Yeah, I think it definitely was. It wasn't about mistrust of a corporation. It was about
mistrust of Tony Stark.
Exactly, but it's because the old thing was like, what will bring us together? We can't agree if this fight is worth fighting for. Now they're like, yeah, the fight is totally worth fighting for, but how do we fight it? Captain America says, I will not single-handedly, I will save every single civilian in this burning city, and we will trust each other till the death. And Tony's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect the world. It's bigger than this. You guys
if you think about it, it was actually in a direct inverse from the first movie where Tony was saying, you're using alien technology to build weapons to protect the Earth? I'm not going to let you do that. And in this movie, Tony was the one building technology to save the Earth.
Right, so why did he do that? Why did he change development so much?
Because of the vision he had, and it was his fear.
He was terrified.
He was doing that before the vision, wasn't he?
No, it was because he threw the nuke into space. He was basically having PTSD after that, and that completely shook him up how scary these aliens were and how real the threat was, and that completely changed his opinion and everything. So it's actually
they didn't make that very clear, or maybe I just missed it. Because
it was pretty clear because it was literally after he had that vision that he went and took the thing.
But
hold on. I'm confused here. Which vision?
The vision in the beginning of the second movie, like the Scarlet Witch or whoever it was, gave him
so he made Ultron between that vision and when Ultron came out?
No, he made Ultron after that vision. He had that vision, which is why he took the thing that he made Ultron from.
Cameron's talking about the Ultron project, which he already had, in mind when he got that new technology.
Gotcha.
Because basically he saw that vision.
Created that after he threw the nuke into space, and then he's like, okay.
See, that was what I was confused about. I was like, when did he even create Ultron? Like, when?
I think he explained that when he talked to Banner in that first scene.
I must have missed it then. Anyway, Steven, what were you saying?
I was just going to say that's a good point of missing that, Cameron, because this is a confusing movie.
It is.
So
it needs
many
a second
weird.
watch.
I mean, to the point where I don't think any average child would come out of that movie understanding the characters and what happened.
But that's why there's amazing fight scenes.
Exactly. And all they care about. Actually, in the theater, there was a very good moment where they were having that incredibly lovable scene where they were all trying to lift up the hammer. There was, Natasha behind the bar, and Steve is like, what's up with her? And then, like, every single character gets kind of explored in some interesting way. And I was just like, this movie is awesome. I can't believe how good it is. And then the lights went out. And we heard the clinking footsteps of a robot in the hallway. And I heard a kid two rows back say, "Finally, Ultron at last!" And it just makes you realize the kids are not necessarily in it for what the adults are in it for, and even the adults can't agree what they're in it for. It's a very strange, polarizing movie.
It really
has just Joss Whedon's fingerprints all over it.
It really was confusing. Actually, through the first half of the movie, I was wondering wait, where's S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because I forgot that they kind of broke off with S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm like, why is Nick Fury not in this movie? Because if you hadn't seen Captain America, you'd kind of be wondering why Nick Fury isn't working with S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Captain America, so I was confused.
Nick Fury basically had to run away from S.H.I.E.L.D. They betrayed him. And he basically become, what's the word for it? It's not a vagabond. It's not a refugee. Renegade is close enough, but there's another one for it, like a wanted person that I cannot think of right now.
A man on the lam.
An outcast is close. Oh my gosh. Whatever.
Fugitive?
He became that. Fugitive.
Bam.
Abigail. And that's one other thing I did like about the Homestead scene is it was such a juxtaposition to this is where they plan now. Like, this is what they're stuck with. They're stuck with a house instead of a giant metallic case.
I love that movie. I really like that
I see your guys' points about the house. I still think it was probably the most boring part of the entire movie.
It definitely was slow.
Yep.
Let's focus and speed this up because we can't spend the whole episode talking about one movie.
Aw, man.
I do want to hear what you guys think about Ultron though before we move on as a villain.
Actually, can we talk about the Vision instead?
Yeah.
Or maybe the Vision really quickly.
Sure.
Was he the worst?
He was the worst character in the movie, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Then discussion over.
I think Vision was
what?
what are we wedding over who
I'm confused.
Vision is?
Do you know who the Vision is?
No.
The alien
this movie was.
Yeah, the creation of that is
guy with
one
the cape and the jewel in his forehead.
Yeah.
Oh, his name was the Vision. I was just like, look, Jarvis gets screen time.
You see, I couldn't even explain who he was. The prototype of the morphing thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't like him. I was actually sad when he came across. I was like, Jarvis is so much better than him.
He came into the story and he did a little bit of fighting, and then he was gone for when the whole city was being lifted up the air. He
Where
was just
did he
gone.
go?
And then all of a sudden, this movie had so many Deus Ex Machinas, it was insane.
Yeah.
So every other second there was, oh look, the Nick Fury's here with the ship. Oh look, there's the Vision. Oh look, hey, there's the Hulk after he's been gone for 20 minutes in the fight scene. So I thought the Vision was absolutely the weakest character, and it's like they tried to fit him in at the last second, and were like, oh, we don't know how to put him in here very well. So
I would say
kind of
I
weird.
think that's a weakness of superhero movies in general is every character needs to have their moment where they appear to save the day. And when you have a movie that has 8 or 9 different heroes, most of the action scenes are just wait until this person is the last thing can save you, and then this person is the last thing can save you, so you can see all of their superpowers saving the day. And yeah, I mean, it kind of happens, but at least it's different than full plot Deus Ex Machinas. They're more just little things he's getting hit by a train, but now this guy can save him, etc. So, except for Nick Fury, he kind of was.
He totally was. When he came, look, we have drop ships. We can fix it.
I think there was a tiny bit of foreshadowing for that, though.
Was there?
When he asked Iron Man, "Can I borrow codename thing in the barn?" Or on the farmhouse, and Iron Man's like, sure. I'm pretty sure Iron Man had saved one of those S.H.I.E.L.D. ships, and Nick Fury asked if he could use
and I
it.
think...
See, I didn't catch that.
I think this is going to be one of those movies where you want to watch it maybe 3 or 4 more times, and you'll keep picking up on stuff.
I'm going to watch it again tonight, actually.
I can't. We're gonna watch it again with Parker actually this week. Yeah. So that's gonna be fun.
Steve, I'm sorry. Let's talk about Ultron now.
All right, very quickly.
James Spader is so cool.
I think Ultron.
Cool.
I told Bryan this little story, and this is why I think Ultron is such a good villain. Because at first, I'm like, this is a cool villain design. Look at this zombie robot that it was created from a dark AI. And then he started interacting with the characters, and I'm like, he has a sense of humor. He's giving one-liners. This doesn't seem right. I'm glad they're trying to make him, quote unquote human, but this feels tired. This feels old. All these jokes have been done before. And then I paused and said, wait a second. These are all Tony Stark lines.
That's what I loved.
And then I'm like, wait a second, he's built on Tony Stark, everything makes sense. And then the movie revolves around that. So they basically found a way to make Tony Stark the villain while creating a new villain, while giving the villain motivation to blow up the world, unlike the last movie's Aliens.
I mean,
it was
Josh Whedon
fantastic.
pretty much said, who is my best character? Oh, Tony Stark. I guess I'll just write as much Tony Stark as possible.
Yeah.
That's definitely the thought that I have. I was like, oh my god. He's the best villain ever because he's Tony Stark, and Tony Stark is obviously the best character in this movie.
Yep.
The Hawkeye had his moments, man.
Hawkeye had his moments, but he was definitely not the best character in the movie. I'm sorry. I like Hawkeye a lot.
Hawkeye is most improved character.
He was the most improved for sure. I still felt like they were just shoving him in the whole time because like he's talking to his wife or whatever, and his wife's like, "Yeah, they need you" or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, they need him." And then like throughout the rest of the film, I'm like, they didn't use him. All he did was give that girl a pep talk. That's like the only thing he did.
Which was extremely important. Like, the Avengers had a grounded, stable father figure, like, that could save them.
That's true. And, but I feel like the rest of the Avengers did not draw on that as much as they could have. Just because I felt like he's an outcast, and he's not really friends with them.
I could totally... I get that. I also, Cameron, I can see giving Hawkeye MVP of this movie just because, Iron Man is being Iron Man and he is awesome at it.
He's done that like 4 times before.
Hawkeye was something special in this movie for sure.
Yeah, I feel like actually Iron Man was one of the characters who the least improved. Like nothing changed.
He didn't change at all. No,
he was still Iron Man. He still had his. I mean, of course he's funny, but that doesn't mean he's the best character personally because he didn't do anything different. He's just. With his little laser beams.
What I love about Tony Stark in this plot is this is something Steven pointed out, is the fact that he didn't change. Like, he created Ultron and ruined everything, then given the chance, he just did it again and created Vision. Like, he's like, nah, it'll work this time. Like, he learned nothing from that entire
They even had that conversation where it was like, Banner's like, this is the exact same thing we just did and everything went horrible. And Tony's like, yeah, it is, but it's better this time.
Yep. I think they did a great job expanding Banner as well. But getting back to Ultron, because we wanted to discuss him a little more, I'm sure.
Yes, he's cool.
Yeah.
And that's Ultron. But no, really, yeah. I thought it was a little bit scattered. I think his motivations were... I could imagine writing that character and getting myself stuck so many times on what exactly he wanted. I felt he was kind of all over the map, and it kind of just ended up he wanted to kill everyone, which I guess is just kind of...
See, no, I actually... That was a perfect... character development because he started off with a mission and then slowly as he realized he was becoming outmatched and getting destroyed, he's like, all right, it's time to just kill everything, because he basically devolved into this AI who just realized that he's not going to be able to complete his main goal, and then he just was like, all right, so everything is going to die now. Everything that I can possibly kill before I get killed is going to die.
So you're basically saying his protocol just got overwhelmed by all of the complexities of his tasks, so he's just like, the most efficient thing I can do is just to murder everything.
Yes, and I believe that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. But I think at first he's like,
I missed the subtle
I feel like that's a classic, like, AI
story.
story
the only
arc.
way to save the human race is to destroy it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only thing I didn't like about his plot, but I was like, it still makes sense, so I can get behind it. Like, it's pretty much the plot of, like, 2001 Space Odyssey or whatever.
Yeah.
And it is better than the aliens came.
Yeah, at least
our biggest problem in watching the Avengers again is we were like, wait, why are the aliens blowing up the city? Like,
no. Yeah. I totally agree with that. But I was like, okay, why is he raising the city? Like, there was just there was so many. This movie had just as many moments. But no,
that makes sense because he said he wanted a meteor, and that's what would kill the most people.
He probably could have done that a little easier, like, personally.
But here's one thing.
Man,
here's one thing that I think this movie did way better than all of the other superhero movies. For once, they were not destroying New York City.
Yeah.
They were destroying some other town.
That was a very intentional thing by the writers.
They couldn't have gone there again.
So glad. Because New York City gets blown up in, like, every single film. And so this time they were in Russia. and they were in wherever the heck that city was,
Africa
which
for a
also
while.
may have also been in Russia, but
A lot of varied environments, which I appreciated.
it was really well done, like
It was all
where
filmed
they
in
were.
Shanghai.
Yeah.
Or in China. I'm not sure exactly where in China,
That's cool.
but yeah.
So that is an interesting discussion, but all of you people need to be quiet. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. You know what I want to talk about now?
Oh, can I just say that the Hulk versus Iron Man fight was the greatest thing ever
Oh,
created?
it was pretty rad, man.
Oh my god!
I
Like
only
what?
that was a good fight, but I was also like, did they just make this up just so we can have another action sequence?
Yes.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course
They could have
pretty
taken the whole
much-
thing out easily.
It was
Okay,
completely useless.
No,
I
not
disagree.
completely
Abigail's
useless.
wrong. Put an
Because-
Okay,
that's-
you're right. It wasn't completely useless, but I think they could have done it in less time.
Abigail's
But
right.
who cares? Who cares? It was the best. Who cares?
It was
That
literally.
was
It
one
was.
of the points where my writer mind is just like, this is just an action scene, and then I'm like, but it's awesome!
Wow, look at that happening!
They did bring it back later because it's like, oh, now Bruce Banner's fear of hurting everyone or whatever
Precisely.
is founded in something. So sure, I get that, but
And
it didn't
basically
have to
made
be
the
like
Avengers
15
into
minutes
criminals.
long.
Yeah.
It didn't
I
need
thought
to
it
be,
was-
but
Yes, it did. It needed to be longer. Are you kidding me?
I thought it was really-
Nothing happened. He beat things up. I'm like, I get the
Yeah, I
point.
know,
He's
and it's
beating things up.
awesome.
The best part though was when Iron Man put him on the ground and just like punched the living daylights out of him. That was so funny.
I mean, everything about it, like, not only was it a cool fight scene, but it also showed the contingency plans with the Hulk. Like, the Veronica, his Tony Stark's
Mm-hmm.
robot system, was proof that they were evolving as
planning
a,
on it.
yeah, they were planning for this. And not only was it cool character development, but it was also just cool to look at. Like, the way that he started off with the bunker that tried to cover the Hulk and he just dug up under it to, like, Veronica, give me a hand, where he had parts of his Hulkbuster flying off and reattaching to him. It was just, the whole situation was just not only cool to watch, but cool to think about as well.
yeah. That is a movie that is so worth thinking about and talking about, and it's hilarious all the way through. We all just need to see it again and reconvene and talk about it again next week.
Done.
Yeah, that's
But we don't just talk about movies on this
I'm
podcast.
so glad I'm not going to be here next week. Everyone's going to be here next week.
Is Zachary even still here?
No,
Zachary.
he left.
No, I'm here.
Oh, good.
I was just reading NeoGAF whilst you were talking.
Well, the good news is we're done, so you can talk about something now.
Okay.
Specifically Dragon Age, because I need to hear you and Bryan compare notes.
All right, I'm cool with this.
So
now, Abigail, go read the
Now I'm just gonna go silent. Bye.
so like I wrote a little list before I started of the things I like and the things I don't like.
Oh, good.
Okay.
And I will
so-
just say, I won't go into anything. I'll just say if I agree or disagree with each item.
Okay. So starting off with the good things, the things I like. I really like how all the environments are very pretty.
I agree.
Okay. I also like the combat, specifically as a warrior, because you get that cool chain thing that makes the gameplay a lot like makes the gameplay a lot like Just Cause 2, where you can just throw your chain out and grab something and then pull it towards you.
I 100% agree. I actually didn't like the combat until I started to learn to play it like that.
I guess kind of sort of with that in the same as I've been playing with my mages a bit, and magic is incredibly fun in this game, which I don't say a lot about like a lot of like Western RPGs, because magic seems kind of boring and slow, but in this game magic is fun and fast and fluid and
Interesting.
it's a lot of fun.
I'm not sure I agree with that one, but I haven't played enough of the combat with understanding it. But yeah, go ahead to the next one.
Okay, next one. Obviously gay party members. Absolutely love it.
Which one?
With Dorian is just like fantastically gay, and I love him.
Is he? I mean, I can totally see that. I just didn't know if they were ever explicit about that.
Have you not like ever like seen how he looks and how he talks and how he presents himself?
Yeah, I guess I just never drew one conclusion on that or the other, but I believe you.
Okay, and then
It's hard to
basically-
tell with
Awesome.
Yeah, and then kind of going into that as well, I really like Sarah, Dorian, like Vivian, and Cole. Those are like my 4 favorite party members.
I've not talked to Cole at all yet, but those are all really interesting characters I like a lot.
Okay, now, things I don't like. The story begins with you about to be killed for blowing up a fortress, and now you're the king thing. Like, just,
Well, it took a
just
long
like,
time to be the king
Just
thing.
like that fast. It was pretty quickly. You were just
Yeah.
like, especially since I'm playing as like an elf, I kind of wish that they might have like, played a bit more into like the racism bit into it, but basically they're just like, hey, you're an elf and maybe you'll bridge the gap, and that's all they say. Like, there is nobody in the city being like, hey, she's an elf! Why would letting her here be an elf in our town? Screw the elves!
I agree. The one caveat I'll give to that is I played as a mage and people were very upset about their herald being a mage. I will give them the game.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like, basically, like, Sarah says something at this. I mean, Sarah doesn't like it if you do anything that is like, pro-elf. Like, that's the only thing. And it's weird because she's an elf, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But like,
go
it's
ahead.
it's just weird. Like, they, like, set this up to, like, elves are, like, this subclass, and I do remember the first game being pretty good with it, about, showing, like, just how rotten it, like, the world was for elves. And this game just sort of just, like, it's just sort of the, like, clean kind of racism, the kind that, like, like, you can obviously say, like, ha ha ha, that's bad, like, like, racism is never subtle. Racism is subtle, and I wish there was more of that. I wish that there was more people who were like, she's an elf. I'm not comfortable with this,
Yeah, I feel the first and second game were a lot better about that. But I also agree the whole You Are the One plot was really trite, really pushed through. And I kind of wish you just, like, started in a position of authority. Like, that game to me, which would have been much more interesting if you were, like, the son of a noble, and this authority wasn't just given to you because you're the magical protagonist of this game.
Yeah.
But, like, if they'd started you as a noble who had all this power, and then you had to figure out what to do with it, I think that would have been a lot more unique of a plot. So, I agree with you.
Yeah. And then, I guess the other two are just kind of silly things I like, I don't like. The first one is, did you notice that whenever somebody uses a potion, they just like throw the glass bottle behind them and it breaks?
No,
I didn't notice so much glass.
That's a really
Every single time somebody drinks a potion, they just drink it and then just toss it on the ground and it breaks. It's like,
they don't believe in recycling.
Do you know how much glass costs?
I much prefer Harvest Moon, where you have a full plate of pasta, garnishes, silverware, and a plate, and then they just go and swallow the whole thing.
Yeah.
I waste nothing.
It's also like you're littering glass all over these pretty environments.
Yeah, it's
super dangerous.
So weird to me that, like, I mean, like, I sort of get it. They want to, like, be cool with the, like, potion and then throw it in, like, glass shatters. And it's like, ooh, we can make glass shatter! Next generation! But, I just...
Yeah.
It was just like, you guys are just, like, littering glass everywhere. Stop doing this.
So what's your last complaint?
And then, I have two more complaints, but the last one is just the characters that I don't like, but.
Okay. Go with them.
Okay, but I'll just say the characters I don't like now, but yeah, like, basically Blackwall, and like Cassandra, and Varric. They're just boring. They're just boring normal people. So far, at least. I mean,
those
apparently
were some of my 3 favorites, which is interesting.
I mean, maybe I need to, like, get more into their stories, but like, Blackwall just seems sort of the, like, like, he just seems sort of the, like, stoic, big, manly man, and then Cassandra's just, the, like, cold, like, a soldier woman, and Varric's just a dwarf.
Do you think that...
Okay, so Varric, I can't be
Varric is the coolest dwarf this side of the... Oh, go ahead, Bryan.
I can't be impartial with Varric because he was one of the primary characters in Dragon Age 2. Like,
I actually do know that he was a main character in 2, and I've not played 2 yet, so maybe, like, if I had played 2, Varric might have been more interesting to me.
Exactly. Varric, I can see not liking him if you only played this game. Like, his role is not nearly as interesting in this game, but I still just like him because I'm like, oh, it's Varric! I actually know you! You're my friend.
Varric right now looks like a dork in my game, so.
He does. No, even without his armor, his model is so much worse than in Dragon Age 2. It kind of surprised me. It's weird.
Like, worse as in design, or?
Both. I don't think the character models look as stylish and good.
Yeah, they're, like, I mean, like, just the characters and, like, the fashion in this game is just absolutely dreadful. It's
pretty bad, honestly.
Well, like, Dragon Age 1 had kind of almost realistic fashion for a fantasy game. People would just wear leather caps and strap leather to them, and it was ugly, but you kind of respected it. It was practical.
This just sort of seems like they like watched a bunch of like fantasy movies from the 80s and were just like, yes, this is what fantasy is. And its fashion in those movies was absolutely god awful.
That reminds me, I've been trying to the Star Wars has finally come to the Marvel Unlimited app. And so I've been reading the original adaptation of the first Star Wars movie that Stan Lee took and said, let's turn it into a comic book. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very, very accurate to the movie, but for some reason, the artist is stubbornly drawing Luke Skywalker like He-Man and won't stop.
Oh man, like super muscular.
Amazing.
Think of Luke Skywalker with like bright yellow hair, the kind of cropped in the front and then long in the back, medieval style, and then like a super big square jaw. It doesn't work.
That's amazing.
Great.
That's really
Same with Biggs. Anyway, I just
And
needed to mention that. I haven't gotten to Han yet.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
But but like the last thing that I just absolutely find to be absolutely just like very silly and weird. So you know the I guess like the subquest. I mean, like in each region has you like claiming parts of the land or whatever, like or rather just like marking landmarks. But you're putting the Inquisition flag down as as if you're claiming it for your own. So like I go into this one area. And it's this big fortress full of soldiers for the for the Empire, and they're all training and talking and everything. And I walk in the middle of the courtyard full of soldiers and just plant my flag down. And I'm like, okay, nobody cares that I'm claiming this entire fortress in the name of the Inquisition. Cool. Okay, peace, guys. See ya.
Yep. You just walk through like this.
It's just like
lake.
The Inquisition sounds pleasant and non-threatening. Hail, hail.
Like, I mean, like. I get that they have to, do something to, mark these landmarks as part of a quest, but the fact that you're planting a flag for your group in the middle of, a stronghold that belongs to, a rival group just seems really weird to me.
The game is very video gamey. I mean, it's not great at tying its plot away from its billions and billions of collectibles.
Which I think that might be why I like it a lot more, is just because it is just it's a very video gamey game, and I just really like that. Also, I guess I should say that things I like is I've fought 3 dragons now, and they are insanely fun fights. They're the only fights in the game that actually prove to be any kind of challenge for me. So,
are you playing on normal?
Yes. And I'm just enjoying fighting the dragons because they're just super fun, and
what's fun to do?
They're also very pretty, and they just have that kind of spectacle that I want from a dragon fight, which a lot of games don't get.
Compared to Dragon's Dogma, though, that had amazing dragon fights.
Dragon's Dogma does. The thing that I will say is that actually, while playing this, I have been comparing it to Dragon's Dogma, and there were a few times to where I'm just man, I wish it's especially with the platforming around, because there are parts in this game to where, you have to, get to, the top of, a mountain or something to, grab an item or something. And the platforming and the jumping and trying to, get up cliff faces is really weird in this game and sometimes doesn't work right. And I kind of wish that the platforming was more like it is in Dragon's Dogma, to where it's more fluid and you can just, hop around the environment and stuff.
Yeah. That said, as a BioWare game, it has gone so far beyond what they've ever done for environment traversal before.
Yeah, it is. I mean, as long as the game is just as fun, I think that I'm back in the BioWare is a good developer camp, strictly for strictly for just making games. I don't particularly like their narrative style still. Yeah, I still think that in this game the narrative is weird, and I don't know if. But part of me, after playing this, though, I think after I finish this, I'm gonna go probably play Dragon Age 2, since I bought the Humble Bundle, so I have that on the PC.
Cool.
And, I might go back and give Mass Effect 3 another shot, just to see. But, I sort of feel at least maybe as far as, just making fun games go, I think that they might, have maybe, hit on something, finally, with this, that, I don't know. It's an insanely fun and, interesting game, at least to play.
It really is.
I haven't, really done a lot of the main story. I have, I have like 3 of those like green like 3 of those like green like
oh my gosh, yes,
things on the war map for me to do, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go fight more dragons, guys. See ya.
I also think like they created aside from like the main story, which I think is pretty boring, I think they've done a really good job at further fleshing out their world and giving you a sense of like how many like different cultures and nationalities and lores there are behind everything, and it's fun to like talk to people and dig into all that. So it's definitely an enjoyable game.
Yeah, I will say that I actually do like the fact that I picked like a Dalish elf, and so it's been fun, like, you know, just like, you know, getting to do like the Dalish elf quests and stuff.
Are the Dalish still Irish?
The voices in this game are not.
No, because they do kind of similar voices for every race. So
that's weird. That way they became Irish,
than I thought it would.
Oh well.
But yes, they had Irish accents in Dragon Age 2.
But not one. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you got to the point to where, like, after...
the turning point.
Okay, yeah.
You get the new keep and all that.
Yeah, okay. So, was I the one who thought it was just kind of weird and sort of laughed when they all broke out into song at that point?
It was supposed to be an amazing dramatic moment, and I was wanting it to be, and it didn't quite work, and I was so sad, because I knew it was supposed to be so cool. I got my cool chills moment when they did, like, showed the castle and played the music. I thought that moment was awesome, where the elf was, like, leading you through the wilderness, but the song didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like
I think that they were trying to do that thing that's in, like, Return of the King, is it? When one of the hobbits sings that song against, like, the backdrop of all the fighting and everything, and then you have this, like, you know, calm, peaceful song.
With like Pippin, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
Wait, it was, the theme song of that game, when I first got into it, I said, I know this melody. I listened to the Pippin song. It's almost exactly this one. I listened. It is so similar. I'm like, this is a beautiful melody, but this is really familiar. And yeah, it's that song pretty much.
Okay.
Like, what does it take the da da dun dun da da dun dun dun?
Oh yeah, it is just. I mean, like that scene is just trying to be like that scene from Return of the King, like so bad. And it's just weird and janky and just like kind of awkward. It's sort of
and
like...
I think it glitched inside someone's head during it. It was...
no. Actually for me, there was actually one scene there was the quest that you do when you go to get the mages on your side. I don't know if you went with the mages, but...
I went with the mages.
After you beat the boss of that, of a section, you have Liliana, like, walking behind you. But in my game, her, like, from the waist up didn't load in, so there's just, like, a walking pair of pants walking behind me.
Yeah, stuff like that happened all the time in Dragon Age 2. That was a really weird sidetrack of a quest. That was crazy town.
And side note, I almost don't like listening to that song from Pippin.
Oh,
from
really?
Return of the King.
You need it in the movie?
Because I never want to open my mouth again. Because my vocal cords will never create something that meaningful and that wonderful.
It's a really good song.
He's so good at singing.
It's not as good of a song in Dragon Age.
I will say that is probably like one of the parts of those movies that I do like, but in Dragon Age, it sort of feels like the musical like equivalent of like when somebody starts to clap and nobody claps with them. For like a few seconds, and then somebody just like out of pity begins to clap with them, and everyone's like, I guess that
and they're like, I guess
and
you'll lead
but
us
it's
all
just
now.
that, but it's like one person starts singing, and everyone's like, should we say? I don't know. And then everybody starts...
Okay,
like,
you are basically describing the Wales or Wales anthem.
Yeah, I mean, the whole plot of that game feels like no one really wants you to be a leader, but they don't really have another choice, so they're all kind of falling to peer pressure of the plot. It's like, I guess you'll lead us.
Peer pressure of the plot. Write that down for a third-person episode.
All right.
Yeah, it is an insanely fun game with an incredibly underwhelming, like, main quest line.
Oh my gosh, yes, the whole main quest line is just, I think sometimes when they diverge, like, a lot of their ideas with the mages were pretty cool, but in terms of close the rift, lead the Inquisition, it's just pretty uninspired stuff. So,
yeah, I mean, like, I feel that maybe I would have gotten, like, more enjoyment because, I mean, apparently, like, the main villain of this game is from is from 2 apparently, and maybe that.
An important thing from the DLC of 2. So I'm like, what the heck is this?
Okay.
And then I started talking to Vark, and he's like, and then we went into this dungeon and fought through a bunch of Grey Wardens. And I'm like, this really sounds like gameplay, but this didn't happen in Dragon Age 2. And I looked at the DLC, and I'm like, oh. So I went back and played through all the DLC, and then came back to Inquisition, so I'm all caught up now. But yeah, it was confusing the heck out of me. I was so confused. So yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, it is, I'm like 40 hours in. Still.
Well, I mean, you're loving a Dragon Age game and you're loving a BioWare game, so I think we're a little closer as friends now.
I mean, like, I absolutely love BioWare games. It's just that I just like their, like, from, like, KOTOR to, like, Mass Effect 2.
Yeah. It was kind of a weird period.
Time frame.
I'll agree with that. But play Dragon Age 2. I think you really like the narrative, if not the gameplay.
From what I've been reading and everything, it seems that, like, everybody didn't like it just because it took place in a single town. To where,
it's so different. It's stripped down and it's weird and it's limited. I understand why people hated it, but the things it did, I think, were really worthwhile.
I mean, like, I think that I would like a game that just took place in, like, one town, because I think that seems to make it, like, more of, like, a personal story then, and...
Yes.
It is so much more personal of a story.
Yeah,
like,
like, it's just, like, the idea of, like, saving a town makes more sense to me than the idea of saving the entire world.
Yep, the whole story actually makes sense, and, like, when you're the crazy leader, you realize a lot of it is people, you did one small role, and folk and legend kind of built you up to be more than you were. And that's so much better than the video game plot of, like, you actually are doing all of the insane things. So they do a really good job of, like, justifying
I will say, though, that one thing I do sort of not like, but, have you been able to actually do, like, any of the, like, once you get Skyhold, you can, like, judge people? By
I've done that once.
The chair?
Yes.
Did you do that with the father of the people in the swamp?
No, I haven't even run into the people in the swamp yet.
Okay, because that guy is the best. Because, specifically, just one little bitty thing is that he's arrested because he's attacking your stronghold with goats. And it is one of my absolute, like, favorite things in this game. Because they actually show him attacking your stronghold with goats.
They, like, do a flashback?
It may not be what you think it is.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
That's
it is
so
the most,
good.
like... It is the most, like, literal way to attack something with a goat.
Oh, I'm hoping he's, like, throwing them in siege catapults at you.
Sort of. It's
a battering ram, just use a goat.
And, like, it was just this, like, really weird, like, silly, not even, like, makes sense within, like, the context or the tone of the game, but it lasts just for, like, 5 seconds. And, like... It just felt like such a, like, wave of, like, relief that, like, there can be humor in this game.
Every once in a while, the game just breaks out and does that, and it is really nice when they do.
Which I will say is having fun, having Sarah and Dorian and, like, Vivian just in your party, because those three just have, like, the best conversations. Just because, basically, Dorian is very pro-magic, and Sarah is very, like, and she just hates magic, and just having them talk about magic is super fun.
That's cool. I need to try that composition. I don't think I have yet, so... But I do really like both those characters, so.
I like talking about magic too. Not the card game, just the concept of magic.
Yeah, you hate talking about the card game.
I don't hate it. I just don't understand it. Well, this has been a very interesting podcast so far.
Yes, sir.
I'm still here.
Oh, hi, Cameron.
Yay!
We had to
I'm the
chant.
only person who has been 100% interested in everything.
I've been like 70% interested in that conversation.
I actually think that, like, Cameron should probably actually try out Dragon Age. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I tried it. Didn't love it.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah.
How far did you get?
I don't like the combat system, man.
Well, yeah, it's very slow and, like, kind of janky at first, but then,
It's
like,
weird.
once you begin to, like, get skills, especially if you're playing as a warrior with a shield, once you get into the idea of actively blocking with your shield, it becomes really awesome.
Yeah. It didn't actually click for me until the Battle of Haven, and then I'm like, oh, this is kind of awesome. So
It's actually very cool blocking, like, a stream of fire from a dragon with your shield.
Oh, man.
That sounds rad.
Yeah. I look forward to getting back to that game, which I will probably do in the near future.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Steven, what's next?
Well, we kind of covered all of Wales or Wales content with our comprehensive history of the Wales or Wales.
That's a fair point.
Network. But there are a couple things I did want to mention before we end the episode. First of all, Train Station at 8 wait, let me try this again. The tracks are a little bumpy on Train Station at 8, but
Tracks don't get bumpy, Steven.
Shoveling
They are when there are people tied to them.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. Basically, Bryan and I have come again to a situation where we're not quite happy with how the show is going right now, but are still happy with the show as a whole. And so we're trying to figure out what to do with it, what to change, but
Obviously, shop themes episode.
I'm considering just firing Steven. That's one potential.
Wait, yeah, I thought I'm like the host and the editor, and I do everything.
I didn't say it was a well thought out plan.
This is a terrible plan. So it's treason then. Little do you know, I'm a Sith Lord. But we'll talk about that later. So the point is, we're trying to figure out what to do with Train Station, but we can't put out episodes while we do that. So we're trying to, we're trying.
Working on it.
Working on it.
The train station is closed for repairs.
But
great analogy.
There are bodies all over the tracks, so bear with us. And speaking of being stuck, I'm working on the dumb logo for the anime podcast. Having a very hard time with it. Spotty translation. I have like one more idea. I had two other ideas that didn't end up working. One of them was Cameron's idea.
I kind of love the idea that, your difficulty right now is the characters are like more Chinese than Japanese. That kind of fits your theme of terrible translation, right?
It does, but if there's no translation to be had, then...
It sort of actually fits in, though, because, actually one of the more popular things amongst fans of anime on the internet is to refer to them as, Chinese cartoons.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea personally. Like someone looks at it and says, wait a minute, that's not even Japanese. And it's just
just a string of random Chinese,
just
letters.
No one notices. It's a very spotty translation.
But I feel like we lose, before at least it was clever because what we were going to do is put Japanese kanji in the logo and, have it as a poorly, yeah, but the listeners don't.
Oh, sorry.
It's just really rude. and be a poorly translated, version of the name Spotty Translation. I think Zachary figured out it would come out to, what was it?
Sketchy Translate.
Sketchy Translate, which is funny, but if it's just a string of improper, we don't even know what it's going to say, I feel like people will just be like that. I guess most people wouldn't know what it means at all.
The amount of people who are going to see this logo and then say, I'm going to translate this logo.
So do you think that's good logo design, just stuffing a bunch of Chinese symbols into the middle? I mean, it looks good, but...
Considering that, a bunch of, high fashion clothing stores in Japan and China just shove, random words, in English on their shirts. And that is considered high fashion. So, I mean...
I'm not saying it's perfect, but I wouldn't throw the design
I think it's fair game, Steven.
All right, fine. Then I finished the logo, everyone.
That's our problems here on the air.
It says Spotty Translation...
Wait, we're still recording?
Why wouldn't we be recording?
When did we ever end the episode?
When we started talking about the logo design?
No, we're going to stop in the middle of an episode and say, hey, we're talking about logo design now.
I didn't think that was part... Okay.
We're very transparent here at... Wales or Wales podcast. But that's, luckily, these things are hitting, are kind of, they're not stalling, they're just going slowly because there are tough things to figure out, but we're moving forward.
Yes,
otherwise, everything's going
will hopefully have Spotty Translation out to everybody soon, so everybody can hear us talk about
if all goes well, we'll have it out in May.
And then have more episodes of Steve and I talking about girls in anime, and girls and girls and girls, because that's all that ever airs anymore, is anime about girls. Just kidding.
Wait, was there ever anything else?
There will also be possibly some future episodes about food and various other things.
Awesome.
Also,
well, I, for one, am very looking forward to that.
Oh, and also there is an idea that I have of maybe having Stephen watch a bunch of, maybe having him watch, 5 or 6, openings from this season and just try to guess what the series is about based on that alone.
Oh, that sounds good. Okay. Write that one down, Zach.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, okay. This show is coming together for real. I think is going to be a good one, too. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Anyone else have something they want to talk about before we peace out?
We're going to be recording a third-person episode this week.
Good.
Me and Abigail and Steven. And a special guest who you will hear on the episode.
Wow! That's so special.
It's so special. We only do it every other week.
Oh, and Cameron's still working on his secret project, potentially.
I decided to go with the name that we decided on when I was at your guys' house.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Follow-up is going to be the name of the podcast.
And it's not going to have a subtitle.
It's not going to have a subtitle.
So we don't know what it is, Cameron. See the problem with not having a subtitle?
Follow-up, this doesn't have a subtitle.
No, it's not going to have a subtitle.
I know.
So that would be just befitting the purpose, Brian.
Brian, you're just not making any sense. Please stop talking.
So yeah, that's actually, I would give it, well, I'm not going to give it a time frame when it comes out, but it's coming together pretty nicely, I think.
Do you want to, say what it is, or is that still top secret?
I'll talk about it next week.
Okay, so you know the name. You can guess what follow-up is.
It's called Follow-Up, yes.
Yeah. Follow-up and has no subtitle.
Done.
I guess that's it, though. Hey, Abigail!
Hey!
Hi!
Wow, I think she totally zoned out.
How are you?
I've been, for the past half hour, or however long y'all have been talking, I have been relearning how to solve my Rubik's Cube.
Wait, really?
Yep. Well, it's been on my desk because I just finally unpacked. Yeah, I moved here like a year and a half ago and just finally unpacked. And I found my Rubik's Cube and was like, oh, I should reteach myself how to solve this. And so most of the algorithms were coming very quickly to my fingers because my muscle memory. But there was this one algorithm that I'm like, I know what's supposed to happen here, but I don't know how to do it. So I went searching for the original YouTube video that I used to learn this, found it, and I'm on my way to solving this now.
So
nice.
that one little problem in your Rubik's Cube is like my Asian characters and my logo.
I don't think she was listening. She has no idea what you're talking about.
I was a little bit listening.
Okay, well, a little bit is better than none
you don't
at
have to
all.
lie. I wasn't listening either.
So we're gonna.
The idea that we had so much content that was uninteresting to Abigail, she could almost solve a Rubik's Cube by the time we were done.
Well, that's what I was
Almost.
saying.
I just keep forgetting these last final steps. Nope, that's not right.
Aw.
Well, actually, Stephen, as part of the Wales Are Wales network, we should send everyone Rubik's Cubes to work on when they're bored with the podcast.
Good point. Because we have a strict.
I actually saw somebody solve one in 5 seconds this past week, so, I would be solving it like 800 times.
That's extraordinary.
Wow. I have no idea how that didn't involve stick.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't think. I mean, maybe if we watched like a frame by frame of it, you could figure it out. I don't know.
We should try doing that. On
I bet Quicksilver could do it. Topical
listening.
reference.
What?
Nothing. Just topical references for humor's sake. Anyway, I guess we should end the episode, though. So, hey, Brian, I want to thank you personally for having the humanity to end your Magic game, the card game, not the concept, and walking over to your computer and joining us for this very special episode. Our 10th...
You're welcome, sir.
I wasn't done.
Oh.
Our 10th anniversary
How
regarding
great.
episode count rather than actual years.
I almost literally had to shove people out the door to make it here on time, so...
Well, I appreciate it.
Oh, good.
And Cameron, I appreciate you as a human being.
Do you?
Yes. Zachary, hi, and thanks.
Awkward.
That is, wow, you actually, begin with me, which makes me feel special, and then you just say hi.
At the end.
Even though
Burn.
even though we are ending this,
I'm losing
the
steam.
correct greeting would be bye.
Okay, bye.
But you say hi instead because apparently you want me to stick around after everybody is gone. Okay, I can fill up an extra 4 hours of content if you need me.
That's good. I might need that
Stay
someday.
around for the after show, the Steve and Zachary show, where Zachary is just passive-aggressive to Steven the whole time.
For 4 hours.
He has to be there in the first place.
Abigail,
Hi.
bye.
Oh, we're doing it again.
Oh boy, us and our crazy hijinks. Well, I hope everyone appreciated this episode. It was a bit of a weird one, but I had a lot of fun.
You're a bit of a weird one.
And I have a lot of fun. We'll see you next week on the Wales Are Wales podcast. We all recommend that you see the Age of Ultron, written by Josh Whedon.
Josh Whedon? No!
And
Go
we'll
punch
see you
yourself
next
in the
time.
face. You said his name wrong.
Go to sleep.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ultron. All right, we'll see you next week.